hours sleeping, 8 hours working, so you've got 8 hours left, 90,000 hours in your life, other than sleep and work, to do what you want to do.
Burnout in the past, constantly juggling your personal life without a proper balance can lead to physical and emotional exhaustion.
So finding your priorities, this is step one of the 5-step plan to help you with your work-life balance.
From the book, The 4-Hour Work Week I was reading, he even stated that he did some fun tasks.
Like, there are people that have done the 75-hour challenge, but they're not doing it with the same quality.
I mean, I think a lot of it just comes down to not prioritising the things that actually bring you joy.
Welcome to You Know What, the podcast for you that dispels the myths and BS in the fitness industry whilst leveling up your A-game in everyday life. We are your hosts, Nick Finch and Dan King.
Welcome to another episode of You Know What, guys. Welcome to this new setup.
Ta-da!
Damn.
Oh, so nice, isn't it?
Yeah, we upgraded. We had to.
I'm not gonna lie, our audio listeners are gonna be sitting there like, what the hell are you guys on about? I have no idea.
I know. Well, if you are on Spotify, then what you need to do is you just need to go to YouTube and watch our podcast live.
Yeah, just go have a look at it, honestly, and then once you've got the gist of what it looks like, just to give you guys some fascination, make sure to watch at least 10 seconds, though, because then it counts as a view. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
And like it and subscribe it and review it. And
yeah, mate.
5 stars only if you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Today's podcast, we're going to do a little bit different. Normally we go off in a random spiel. Today we're actually going to try and dive into one of the most important parts, I think, for busy people. Yeah. Work-life balance.
I'd say so. I think it's one of the big things that a lot of people struggle with big time, don't they? Like,
yeah.
Many people don't know how to build that balance. Look, let's be honest. A lot of people in their day-to-day lives are sitting there right now being like, I just feel so stressed and burnt out from day-to-day life. If you've got kids, if you've got a job you hate, if your cleaner's annoying you, I don't know, add that in there. You know?
Yeah, 100%. So obviously today is all about work-life balance. We're actually going to give you a 5-step plan on how you can achieve work-life balance if you're someone that's really stressed out, working all the time, and not feeling too good. So we're going to start off obviously with a random fact. Now, Dan, it's my random fact today.
Treat yourself.
And my random fact, now this is all work-life balance related, but did you know if you work 40 hours per week until you're 65, you will have worked just over 90,000 hours.
90,000 hours?
90,000. That's crazy.
You know what? That doesn't sound... Let's put this in perspective. How much time does that actually give you to do the things you want?
Oh, mate. I mean, in terms of, like, if you weren't working at that time? Yeah. Well, it depends. Are you working 8 hours a day or are you working 4 hours a day?
4 hours a day for like 7 days a week or something like that. I know it wouldn't total the same, but...
Yeah, no, if you've got... So 3 lots of 8 hours a day is 24 hours. So you've got 8 hours sleeping, 8 hours working. So you've got 8 hours left, 90,000 hours in your life, other than sleep and work, to do what you want to do.
Imagine. What a dream.
6-hour arm workout.
How many people out there right now are sitting there going like, that would be, you know, game-changing for me? Like, absolutely game-changing. I think... I know there's some people out there who watch our podcasts, and hopefully that makes you realise that life is not all about work. You have to enjoy yourself too. ASMR. Taste the rainbow. Bear in mind, we are still getting used to the setup as well, so there will be a lot of kind of like testing.
Yeah, again, we're always getting set up to new setups. Right, so what are some of the problems that people are experiencing with poor work-life balance? Now, we've got a few ideas, Dan. Do you have any ideas yourself?
I mean, I think a lot of it just comes down to not prioritising the things that actually bring you joy and bring you happiness. You know, I think a lot of people get sucked into the work life because money is a big factor in everyday life. How many people have turned around to us and can't do coaching due to financial reasons rather than genuine, like, I've got XYZ going on in my life at the minute, you know? How many people genuinely go down? But yeah, like we said about burnout in the past, constantly juggling your personal life without a proper balance can lead to physical and emotional exhaustion.
Mate, I feel that sometimes. Definitely you can get burnt out. And I think we talked about burnout before. We've also got things such as relationship strain. People that are working too much, they don't get the time to actually look after the people in their life. They can find that their strain on the relationship actually becomes a major problem. And then obviously, you know, as you know, if you're ever having like a bad time with someone, you do feel worse in general. Like we're social creatures. We need people in our life.
We do, I think, but you need the right people in your life. You don't want what I call social leeches. And social leeches are people you spend time around, and it takes a lot of energy out of your day-to-day life to really focus on. And I'm a big believer in cutting people out that aren't benefiting your day-to-day life now. I used to do it all the time where, look, we all know this, I'm a people pleaser. If you follow me long enough, you know I'm a people pleaser. But now I've learned that actually pleasing everyone is just sucking the life out of me.
Yeah.
And it's now to a position where if someone annoys me, I'm going to be straight up with you and be like, you're annoying me. If you continue to annoy me, I will not talk to you anymore, because I don't need that in my life. You don't want to spend hours a day trying to, you know, provide for other people and have your energy taken from you. You need it for other things.
Yeah, and mate, obviously we've got, you know, burnout, we've got relationship strains, we've got even decreased productivity. Why can't I say that today? You know, if you're working too much, how many times have you worked out so much that you actually no longer start creating good work anymore? Do you know what I mean? If you're doing something for like 4 hours rather than 2 hours, suddenly you're sitting there spinning your wheels, not really engaging the task at hand, and you start getting distracted by everything that you see on your phone, social media, people texting you, etc.
Well, yeah, this is the thing. I mean, that comes onto a point of like you're limiting the development on yourself as well at that point in time, because, as I said, social leeches exist, but if we're not improving on ourselves, maybe giving yourself 30 minutes a day, even if it's minimal stuff like doing your mobility a day or sitting there and doing some mindful stuff. I know somebody in our challenge at the minute that we've got our 21-day sprint challenge has said that they want to do some prayers. And that prayers is them working on themselves mentally. There's other goals in there that are work related, but that one for me screams that actually I'm developing an area that I know I need to work on. And that will then obviously tear you up in your own life to prepare yourself for any new challenges that come across.
One thing I love about the challenge actually as well is that, as you just said, like the habits aren't just drink more water, stretch in the morning. There's some things in there that are actually work related, because if you get this, like say the hardest task of the day done before anything else, everything else becomes easier, right?
Yeah.
So I see that sometimes as a habit, and it's like, that's fair enough, because it will help your health.
I want to add one thing in there. One of the big habits I have on a day-to-day is I do my morning mobility, and I also do morning planks 5 days a week. And what I find for me, it's planks, yeah. So I do at the minute, because of my back, I can't really do like a normal elbow plank because it annoys and aggravates my back. So I do what they call a McGill curl up, hands behind back, leg extended. So I do that for a minute 30. I do a side plank on either side for a minute 30. And for me, that's my 5 minutes of my day that I'm challenging myself to hold a position and concentrate. And it sets me up so well. So if you want to do something to start off your morning, you know, do a little bit of kind of stability. I don't like to do stability rather than dynamic core work, because for me, it kind of helps me kind of center. It's almost like challenging mobility that I'm holding a position.
It's your version of a cold shower.
It's my version of a cold shower.
Yeah. Right. So if these are some of the problems that people are experiencing with work-life balance, what are some of the ways that we can actually help?
I mean, big one.
Apologies for interrupting the podcast today. Thank you so much for tuning into You Know What. We really appreciate you listening, subscribing, liking and reviewing everything that we're doing. It's so nice to see so many of you interacting with our podcast as it grows. If you didn't already know, me and Nick have one of the fastest growing online coaching platforms on the planet, and we'd love to get you involved. We're looking for ambitious people looking to grow their careers and grow their experience in health and fitness. Me and Nick have over 10 years of working experience in the fitness industry, and we'd love to help you achieve the results that you've always wanted. Make sure to contact either Coach Dan King or Get Fit by Nick, or even just check the link in our bio to the podcast now. We'd love to hear from you.
Defining your priorities. I said this at the start. Yeah. You've got to know what is actually providing you with joy, providing with benefit, and thereby you should be doing more of. Because I've said this in so many pods, we're not in life to just sit here and mumble on by. We're in life to do things we enjoy. And 80% of our life should be doing things we enjoy. 20% of our life should be doing sources that technically don't enjoy us, but they need to get done, you know?
100%. Defining your priorities. This is step one of the 5-step plan to help you with your work-life balance. And one part of that obviously as well is values. Like you've done your values before. When you read that, what was that book?
Oh, what, the 7 Habits to a Healthy Life?
That's the one.
No, like just 7 habits.
Yeah, like
7 habits to
7 habits of highly effective people.
That's the one.
Yeah. So everything that you look at when it comes to setting priorities, it always asks you first, what's your values? You know, are you someone that values people being on time, for example? Like, it'd be as simple as that. You want to list your values out. If you list your values out, it's going to make the next part of this step plan easier, and you can't move on until you've got those values. So write out the things that are very valuable to you in your personal life and your business life, and just brainstorm it all on a piece of paper. Then find the commonalities, find the ones that are like the big heavy hitters, and they are the ones that are going to be the most valuable to you.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I mean, the thing is with these areas as well, we talk a lot about kind of setting boundaries. And this is step 2, funnily enough. Step 2 is setting the boundaries for you to then know that you're not overstepping what you've stated you're going to do. You have to understand that when work life eats into personal life, your personal life's going to suffer. When personal life seeps into your work life's going to suffer. And I think everyone knows that. It's pretty common sense, and you devote more time to one thing, you're going to suffer in another area. But you need to still designate your time. I think a lot of people shy away from scheduling, don't they? Like scheduling actual time for those things.
What 100%, mate. Like the thing about scheduling as well, like Jordan Peterson actually discussed saying that schedule isn't a prison, it's a guide.
Yeah.
You know, you're setting guides that you follow. If you miss it a little bit, that's fine. You're expected to. So when you create clear boundaries, don't create a prison. You're not trying to be like, right, this clear boundary is always going to be enforced, but most of the time you want to try and make sure that you're establishing a schedule that includes designated work hours, family time, self-care, and try and stick to them as much as possible. There's no need to be like 100% all the time.
Yeah. It's never, look, so many people say you need to go 100 to get your goals. You don't. That's complete
75
lies.
hard challenge.
Oh, don't even.
2 times a day working out.
How? If anyone's done the 75 hard challenge, how? Like, we're fitness professionals, and I look at it and go, I can't imagine something more soul-consuming and soul-destroying.
I got close with my boxing training, but I still didn't do it twice a day, every day, but it actually exhausted me.
Twice a day, though, training.
Twice a day, 6 days a week.
But the thing is, you'd have to, again, I'm a big believer in training with intensity and intent. So for me, you just drop an intensity there. Nobody can sustain training every day, twice a day. Not even athletes. They have days off. There's a reason.
Like, of course you can do it.
Yes.
Like, there are people that have done the 75 hard challenge, but they're not doing it with the same quality.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're actually going to talk about this on another podcast, but how training less can actually lead to more in a lot of times. And, you know, I've gone down both routes, and I can tell you now, training less can actually be better. But step number 3, learn to say no. You know, it is essential to be able to say no, because if you can't say no, you can't set boundaries. All right, this is the next part. You've set the boundaries, you set the schedule. Now you've got to learn to say no to people that are trying to take you from the schedule that you set for yourself. You've got to have a little bit of self-control over yourself in order to make progress on the goals you want.
I tell you what, one thing I can come in and give some experience on for anyone out there who struggles with saying no. Me and my mates back home, we game every week, but we all say no if we physically cannot do it. And it's not because we don't want to game with each other.
Really?
It's because we know that we need to dedicate time to other things, and we appreciate. So get some friends that actually appreciate that you are going to work on yourself.
You know what my mate says to me?
Go on.
Another one. And I'm like, go on then.
Oh, what a shame.
11:30 at night, and you're like, another one.
Yeah, your eyes are like closing and you can barely see the screen. You're like, yes, I need to continue gaming.
Number 4, right. So at this point in time, you've defined your priorities, you know what your values are, you've set clear boundaries, you're saying no to things that are taking you from that schedule. The next thing is to delegate and outsource anything that you don't need to do. Now, if you're in a position financially where you can do that, or you have friends or partners that can take some of the workload off you, then do that. You know, take some of the things off your plate, your family, your friends, your relationships, for example. Maybe you make a deal with your partner that they do this task more often, so you can do this more often. You need to set and delegate, you know, things away from your plate, so you're not doing everything all the time.
I'm a big believer in your friends and family, your best employees. Yes, you can have different complications if you're not comfortable there. But for example, I've had 2 mates work on my website. My brother's done graphic design for me. I've had friends at uni do graphic design. And the thing is, these people will understand what you need done. And I think a lot of the time, look, people even outsource things such as going and buying your partner flowers. I do disagree with that to quite a hard extent, because it's taking away the thoughtfulness. But from the book, The 4-Hour Workweek I was reading, he even stated that he did some fun tasks where he sent his VA to go order some flowers online to get sent to his partner. I was like, oh man, come on.
Pushing it to another level, isn't it? And then obviously the last one is practice self-care. Now, we put this last because you need those other things to give yourself the space and the time to be able to do this. But self-care is everything to do with giving yourself a little bit of self-love, including exercise, including drinking water, eating good food, stretching daily, and basically doing fun hobbies with people you love. Like self-care is so important. I know, Dan, like we've talked about this before, but if you don't love yourself, if you don't feel whole, it's very hard for other people to feel the same love for you as well, and then you start to find breakdowns in relationships.
100%. Like, you have to understand that at the end of the day, you're the most important person to yourself. I know we always say our partner's the most important people to ourselves, but I, to a point, understand that they are. That for me, you've always got to prioritize yourself, and if you're finding things aren't going in the way they should and you're not prioritizing your own self-care, you need that time to yourself. We're not saying you need to completely regenerate your systems, read a book every single day, make sure you're doing your moisture and skincare routine. Like, that's not what we're saying. We're saying that you need to learn to do things for yourself and not just do them for the happiness of other people.
Yeah.
Because this is something I'm going to continue to preach, is this social battery just decreases when we don't spend that time doing self-care.
You're talking about that film American Psycho, where he's like, he wakes up and he's like, I put a moisturizer on my face, and he's like, have you ever seen it?
No.
Oh no.
I just know American Psycho is the one with Christian Bale, and he's
awesome.
really skinny.
Yeah.
Was that The Machinist?
Do you think about Christian Bale? Do you know a fun fact about him?
Go on.
He used to be a PT.
No.
That's why he does such good transformations with his body.
Wow.
Yeah. He used to be a PT. He was shredded.
Hollywood, here I come, baby.
Right. Well, that is the 5-step plan. We got a question for you guys. Now, obviously, if you're listening on Spotify, you can't actually comment. But if you can answer this question by email, not emailing us, what about going onto our Instagram, Coach Dan King, Get Fit by Nick, and you can message us to us directly. But the question for you is, which of these steps do you need to currently work on the most?
So that's coming down from obviously what we just said about.
Yeah.
So do you struggle with defining? Do you struggle with setting clear boundaries? Do you struggle with saying no? Do you struggle with delegation and outsourcing? Or do you struggle with practicing self-care? Any of those 5 steps. If you struggle with more than one, look, you have to own your shit. If you don't own your shit in this instance, you're not going to progress in them. I'm sorry, big dog, but you're not going to progress in them. You need to own your shit to know you're not doing well in these areas. What area would you say you need to work on if it's anything out of that 5-step plan?
So I know my values. I set clear boundaries. I learn to say no. I could delegate a little bit more, but for me, it's financial resources. I'd rather, we've talked about this, do the stuff ourselves, and then, that would probably be the most important. Practice self-care. I would say most of the time I'm pretty caring of what I do. I do train. I do eat as good as I can. Try and have as much social time as possible. So yeah, for number 4, delegate.
See, I'd go for learn to say no. As much as I'm good in some instances, I still am a people pleaser. I'll continue to say this. Look, I'm 3 years into my career. I'm going to continue to make mistakes and say yes to the wrong people, to do the wrong things at the wrong time. But that doesn't mean they're not going to be like an outlet for me to learn something in that hour I spend with them. But look, someone turns around to me and goes, do you want to go down the pub? In my head, I'm like, is it going to be beneficial going to the pub? Is this alcohol that's going to make me feel great for 20 minutes and shit for an hour going to be beneficial to drink? Probably not. But am I going to do it? Of course I am.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Right. Okay, guys. So we'll leave the floor to you. If you've got any questions on YouTube, just comment below. If you're listening on Spotify, Instagram.
Oh yeah, Spotify, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube as well. We've got loads of YouTube shorts that'll be coming out soon. If you enjoy the podcast reels and enjoy the kind of the short form content, please let us know as well, because we're trying to make sure the content goes out to you guys. Me and Nick were actually discussing earlier within kind of the context of editing. If there's anything that you'd like to see more from us as kind of delivering the content to you guys, please speak up. Like, we're not going to sit there and put you down. We just want to see how much we can improve. Like, we're loving editing this content. This is our prime content that we actually enjoy doing. I think a lot of people in the industry don't do what they enjoy, and I think we're very happy in our positions now. So we appreciate it. Just make sure that you drop a nice subscription and make sure you review the podcast. Say a podcast review. How long does a podcast review take, Nick?
On Spotify?
Yeah.
About 30 seconds?
30 seconds, yeah. All you got to do is tap stars. That's it. All you got to do is just tap stars. 5 stars.
You can
not
put a
one
comment.
star.
You can put a comment.
Can you?
And if you want to send us a nice kind word, then please do. If you do not find value in this podcast, then please message us first, and we'll try and figure out a way we can fix this.
Please email us at do-not-reply@coachinglab.com.
Right. Happy?
Happy.
Yeah. Guys, hope you like this new setup. Hope it sounds good. If there's any issues, let us know. But have a great day.
Hell yeah. We'll catch you later.
Next time.